A mixture of sunshine and wintry showers for Scotland and Northern Ireland tomorrow. Not much sunshine to begin with at all for England and Wales. Dismal, a lot of cloud, a lot of rain too. Could be an inch of rain across East Anglia during Sunday. The rain does clear away from Wales and the southwest, northwest England, but as it does so, the back edge of that could turn to a bit of sleet or wet snow, mainly over the hills. Certainly going to feel colder everywhere, especially underneath all that wet weather in the eastern side of England, together with a strengthening wind later in the day. And it's later in the day, overnight into Monday morning, that we could see a bit more sleet and snow falling in eastern England. How quickly will it clear away, though? This low pressure looks like it should pull away. A lot of doubt about that. Elsewhere, drying up with some sunshine, but it looks like it's going to be cold for the start of the week. But it's not going to stay that way. It looks unsettled as the week goes on. You can get all the details, of course, elsewhere online and via the red button.
Good morning, welcome to the weekend on BBC One, getting ready to tickle your taste buds in the Saturday Kitchen next.
A friend of hers has written a novel.
Not a friend, a lover.
A lady's private life is her own concern.
I have no intention of having a baby.
It's time you stop behaving like a child.
If I had my way, you would be dismissed.
Lady Agnes was treating us like domestic appliances.
Original British drama Upstairs Downstairs continues Sunday at 9 on BBC One. Catch up on BBC iPlayer.
It's all about The Voice. Coming soon to BBC One and BBC One HD.
Last week on Let's Dance, I was amazed when this happened.
And I couldn't believe it when that happened.
But we should have guessed that was going to happen.
Yeah, that was entirely predictable.
There were moves there I'm pretty sure the male body isn't meant to do.
I've got another prediction for you. We're back. Let's Dance to Sport Relief tonight at 7 o'clock on BBC One and BBC One HD.
After the postponement in Paris, Ireland and France are finally ready to battle it out. With a convincing win against Italy, Ireland are finally off the mark, while France are still on course for the Grand Slam. The Six Nations, united in rivalry, continues Sunday at 2:45 on BBC One and BBC One HD.
A mouth-watering morning to come on BBC One with more foodie inspiration now from James Martin.
Good morning. We've got a star-studded lineup of incredible food for you, so put your feet up and prepare to get very hungry. This is Saturday Kitchen Live. This is like a little mixed puree, and on the top you've got a little bit of pickled turnip as well.
Pickled turnip and a little sauce made with onion oil.
Sounds good to me. So what are you cooking full of that then? Claude?
I'm going to beat this with a celeriac risotto with no rice.
Yeah.
And English winkles. A bit of winter truffle. Very simple.
So the celeriac, the idea is you very, very finely dice the celeriac, and you've got some winter truffles because the season's just about to change on the truffle season now.
Because we're using the pomelos with the Chinese grapefruit.
Yeah.
It's finishing at the same time. Donc we try to mix the saison at the same time on the plate. And the celeriac will be chopped at the shape of a rice.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that, yeah. Thanks very much, Chef. Yeah, cheers. So two top-class recipes from the boys, and we've got to look forward to. We've got a great lineup of classic foodie films from the BBC's archive for you to also enjoy today. Their selections from Rick Stein, Celebrity Master Chef, and the one and only Mr. Keith Floyd. Now, our special guest today is a genuine American rock and roll star. His hits Wicked Game and Blue Hotel gave him multi-platinum success all over the world. Please welcome to Saturday Kitchen the brilliant Chris Isaak. Great to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
You're a bit of a keen cook then, Chris? How do you fancy a couple of those dishes?
You know, I can cook. I cook one dish.
One dish, that's it, right?
I know. I live by the ocean, and I always go down there. I'm surfing all the time, and I notice that there's mussels all around where I surf.
Right.
And so I started pulling mussels up and taking them back to my house and cooking them up.
That sounds good to me.
And I actually, the first two times I did it, it wasn't very good, but about the third time, it was starting to sound, pretty good.
Exactly. And congratulations on your new album, by the way.
Thank you.
And it was out last month?
It's been out about a month.
Yeah.
And we're just having a ball playing it live.
And all over the world as well, because you're back touring again in the US next week. And
I never like to look ahead. I'll get tired if I do.
Right. Well, you are actually touring next week in the US, but of course you're here to eat. And for Food Heaven or Food Hell. At the end of the programme, I'll cook Food Heaven or Food Hell for Chris. It'll be something based on your favourite ingredient, Food Heaven, or your nightmare ingredient, Food Hell. It's up to our studio guests and some of our viewers to decide which one you get. So Food Heaven, what would it be if I could cook you anything?
I know it's kind of strange, but I like sardines.
Not strange for me. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you know, it's not a real popular dish when I talk to other people, and I
think a lot of people have them in tins, and they're not the same as if you get fresh sardines. They're delicious.
Fresh is good, but I'll eat them out of the tins. I like them double layered.
Right.
You know, I don't like the big greasy ones. But I'm on the road all the time. I'm traveling. And my suitcase has always got sardines in
it.
It's
made it a lot easier for me if it was just a tin of sardines. But there you go. What about the dreaded food hell?
It's not something that most people would dread, but mint is not my... I don't like the flavour of mint. I think should be saved just for chewing gum.
Sounds good to me. There you go. So it's either sardines or mint for Chris's Food Heaven. I'm going to turn the sardines into something very Mediterranean. Because I know you're a big fan of Italian
kind of
food
minty
as well.
Sardine?
No, there's no mint in this one. The fish is filleted and layered with sliced potatoes, fresh marjoram and some slow roasted tomatoes. And then they bake the whole thing in the oven. It's served with a little basil oil and roquette on the top. How does that sound?
I'll take it.
You'll take that one,
yeah.
OK. For Food Hell, Chris could be facing that mint, which you're going to use to make a simply stunning dessert, a peppermint and chocolate parfait. The mint is used to infuse into a classic custard made with milk, eggs and cream, folded into whipped egg whites, double cream, and then put in the freezer, and it's served with a praline custard and a mint chopped chip to go with it.
No, that's not good. That actually can make kids very sick, I think. Don't have children shouldn't be eating that.
No, exactly, yeah. Thanks very much, bigging up my dish. But you have to wait to the end of the show to see which one Chris gets. Let's meet our other chef's table guests. As usual, they're 2 Saturday Kitchen viewers. Kim, you one of the row tin. Have you brought along with you?
Yes, I've got my daughter Hannah.
Now, you're doing what most people are doing around the country at the moment. In the UK now, we have this big explosion with baking. Everybody's making cupcakes, and you're the same, are you?
Well, not cupcakes. I love baking, but I like to try gatto, and I'd probably try that parfait. That sounds quite nice, but...
See, it's not going well so far, is it?
I do like homemade ice creams, and, you know, I love having a go at things.
What's the best dish then, Hannah?
Confit duck.
Is it? Confit
Yes.
so there you
Yeah.
go. Nice, slowly cooked with a little bit of duck fat.
A
Sounds
couple of
good to
days,
me.
yeah.
Well, if you've got any questions for the guys, don't hesitate, fire away.
Thank you.
Two-star Michelin chefs on the show today, and of course you get to decide what Chris will be eating at the end of the show. I think sardines is going to be.
I'll be nice to them.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to sing for you later as well.
I'll sing right to you.
And if you'd like to ask a question on the show, then you can call this number. That's 08716 41 41 41. That's 08716 41 41 41. Calls remember cost 10p a minute from a BT landline. Mobiles and other networks may vary. And a few of you will be able to put your questions to us live a little later on. And don't forget, if you get on the show, they'll be asking you whether Chris should be getting Food Heaven or Food Hell. So start thinking. Right, let's get cooking. The first up is a Nottingham man behind one of the best restaurants in Britain. I think you're going to enjoy this dish. You're not going to be able to follow it,
okay,
but you're going to enjoy it. It's the brilliant Sat Baines. Great to have on the show, Sat.
How you doing? Nice to see you again.
Now, I know we want to get straight on with this because there's a lot going on.
It's a really simple dish, this is.
Yes, right. Right, go on then.
OK, so what it is Loch Duart salmon, so it's organic, really good sauce.
Yeah.
And it's basically just poached in some, like, a confit of duck, so it's like done in oil.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make a little tea bag with some spices in.
But we've got a puree of this.
Puree of onions to make a leek oil. We've got a little bit of brassicas. Brassicas is a generic name for the family of, like, cabbages, mustard, radish.
All this is going to get used as well.
Yeah, I've got some cabbage juice, which is amazing. I'm going to make a ketchup.
Right, well, I know you want to get, first of all, on and start that off, and I'm going to get on and do the oil, first of all, because there's a lot going on here. So you say this is, you know, there is quite a lot going on. Is this one of the dishes from your restaurant then?
This is actually on the menu at the moment, and the idea is that it's just kind of leaning into spring because obviously the season's changing.
Right.
It's visually beautiful, but also the flavours are the contrast is quite incredible. It's got a beautiful fatty piece of salmon, and the idea is that's cooked very slowly. We cook it around 45 degrees, and as soon as we get the pan up to temperature, we just pull it off.
Now, a lot of people would be worried about cooking things that low, literally 45 degrees.
Well, yeah, well, in fairness, fish does cook at that temperature and it'll be quite tender. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to infuse this first. Right. There's the salmon, just took the little skin off of the bloodline.
Right, this is the oil. We've got the tops of the leeks, some spring onions and some chives and oil in there. That's just plain oil, yeah?
It is, yeah. Here's the oil that I'm going to poach in. What we've got here is some pine. Pine is very citrus. Got some thyme. And we've got some juniper and coriander seeds. Yeah. And you basically just wrap it up like a bouquet garni. I call it a tea bag because I'm from Nottingham.
Right. This is tree pine then, yeah?
Tree pine, smell it. It's like citrus, forest. And this time of year is fantastic.
Yeah.
So again, we're just going to tie that up. And the idea is you infuse it in the actual oil. And the idea you leave that for a few moments, up to about 3-4 hours. And then you reheat up to 45 degrees. So I've done that already.
So the idea is you're infusing the oil before you cook the salmon?
Yeah, because you want to get that perfume.
Right.
So say that's going to infuse, I'm going to put this here.
If you're worried about the blender, don't, because it's only just started. There's about another 10 more to go.
Oil. So if you taste this now, James, you'll see. It's got this like, you can taste the olive oil, but you can also taste like citrus from the pine. It's quite aromatic.
It's like a really, really good olive oil, but...
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's
great,
the salmon there. I'm going to pop that into the one at the back.
Right, and then you want me to do a little turnip pickle with this, yeah?
Yeah, the idea is I like to play with lots of acidity. This ketchup here...
Sugar and...
is basically like an old traditional dish where, you know, things like ketchup was from a very old age. Like, you used to have mushroom ketchup,
yeah.
we've had cucumber ketchup. This is one that's a red cabbage. So I've got some mirin in here. That's a nice little sweet, acidic rice wine. I've got some soy. And we've got some agar here, which is a setting agent. And what that does, as soon as it comes up to simmer, you just take it straight off, and it sets in the fridge like a real nice gel.
Now we've had this on we've had this on the show before, but it's not like corn flour, is it? So
no, not at all.
The difference is what?
This is basically
seaweed
seaweed based, and it also sets at a higher temperature. So the melting point is at a higher temperature as well. So it's really good for doing things like purees because it suspends the liquid in the actual puree.
But it's good for jellies and that kind of stuff.
Without
as well,
a doubt, yeah. So that goes in here. That's just come up to simmer. And again, the secret is you've got to taste this. A lot of people were going, cabbage juice. But it is quite delicious, actually.
Cabbage juice.
Wait there, let me just taste it. It's delicious.
It's about $80, this cabbage juice thing. Now, tell us about your restaurant, then, because you've got rooms with it as well.
Yeah, we've got 8 bedrooms.
And you've just recently got your second star.
We did, yeah. So we were quite blown away by it all in terms of the accolade. But, you know, I've always said it from day one, it's a massive team effort. What we do at the restaurant is we're in a very strange location, as you pointed out. But we try to celebrate that by also doing things that are quite rustic. We celebrate the region, we celebrate the locality of the produce coming from that region, and hopefully puts us on the map for the right reason.
And has getting 2 stars changed in terms of, you know, I mean, it must have changed business dramatically, but...
Without a doubt, what it does, it basically puts you on the map. And that's what you know, is a massive accolade for us. So we're off the beaten track, under the A52 flyover, and what's nice is drawing the people there, and what's drawing them is the food. Yeah. You know, it's not about the salubrious.
Do you find the food's got a little bit more complicated now?
Not at all. This is the simplest dish I've ever done.
Right. I'm lost here. Right, we've got the broccoli cooking there for a puree.
There. This is the actual one that's set.
Right, now,
that needs to be pureed.
Now, show us the difference between... Let's have a look at this, because it's just...
So what it is like, if you look at it, very
But you can't warm that up, can't you?
Not now. Not once you've had the agar in. So what we need to do is... I can't remember which blender it was, James, can you?
This one, I think. That one's for my broccoli, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. But it's got a great colour with this, hasn't it, really?
But this is the point. When it looks like a ketchup. When we taste it, it's quite acidic, it's tart, and you've got this lovely cabbage flavour, which, again, is you know, something that's very much in season, and you want to celebrate, like spring's coming round the corner, it looks very vibrant, but I love it, you know, it's one of them dishes. Brassicas gets a bad rep in my eyes. I think we should hopefully...
Do you think that's because a lot of it's overcooked, mainly? Yep. Talking to that with broccoli, there you go. So you don't need anything there, just blend
Nothing,
it, yeah?
just blend it.
Yeah. So that's cooking away. Now, as well as doing the restaurant and everything else, your first book as well, you're working on that, are you?
Yeah, that comes out in September.
Right.
It's took us 2 years. Everyone keeps asking when it's out, but what it is, it's because it's our first book, the pressure's on to get it right.
Yeah.
And we're self-publishing it with Face Publications, and the idea is it's all dishes from the restaurant that we've done over the last 7 to 8 years. And I want it to be very, very honest, and all the dishes, the way they're photographed, they're done in real photography terms that it actually looks like what you get in the restaurant.
Yeah.
We haven't got a food stylist. So basically, what you see in the book is what you'd actually get at the restaurant.
Sounds good to
So
me.
here we've got some pre-blanched little florets of cauliflower, purple sprouting broccoli, and again, just adds a bit of texture to the dish.
Yeah. Right.
Again, all these, you know, purple sproutings in season. It's quite... there's the oil.
Just to show you that, look at that oil. That's just great. That's just the tops of the leeks. That's the spring onion and the chives, just blended with normal oil.
Look at that. It's like luminous.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant job. That's better than ours.
Thank you, chef. There you go.
So I've got
now
some
you're
here.
ruin
Warm,
it by mixing it together
watch
with
this.
it.
Warm chicken stock, and that just gives a bit of body to the dish, and just warm that oil through. And what you end up with is this amazing split dressing. And that adds a great depth to the dish itself.
Right, I'm going to use the other blender here to blend up my broccoli with a little bit of this juice as well.
I've lost count.
Remember, if you'd like to ask a question in the show, they can call this number. That's 0716 41 41 41. Calls cost 10p a minute for a BT landline. Mobiles and other networks may vary, and if you will put your questions to us live a little later on. And don't forget you can find Sat's recipe, along with all the other studio recipes, on today's show, bbc.co.uk/recipes. And don't ask me what I'm doing, because I'm lost.
OK, that's the turnip you pickled.
Yes.
That's what it looks like after 2 hours. So you want to do that in advance.
Right,
yeah?
OK.
So that's the one I'm going to use.
Right, we've just got puree in here. Another one. This is the broccoli.
I'm going to get the plates, because we're nearly there. How are we doing?
Getting there, I think so. Do you want a little bit of salt in there or something? Or?
We'll taste it, because I put quite a lot of salt in the water.
OK.
The salmon itself, as you look, is very soft. So I'm going to get it out with a spoon. And the idea is that it should be very soft textured, almost like a confit, you know. And
it looks as if it's not cooked.
It does, because we've kept it below 45 degrees.
Right.
Anything over that, it starts going white.
Right.
If you smell that now, you've got all that pine in there, because that's been there now 2.5 hours.
Smells good. All I can smell is broccoli at the moment, but there you go. Right.
So a little caramelisation there. We'll turn these off to save a bit of gas.
Right, ready when you are. So you've got your puree there.
Puree there.
That's it, just literally done. I feel like I'm on a shopping channel.
Let's have a look.
Done with that one?
Taste, yeah. Look at that, smooth.
It's smooth, look at that.
That's lovely.
That's cabbage water.
That's very nice. Well, cabbage ketchup.
Cabbage juice.
I'm trying to make it sound lovely.
I'm impressed with that.
In it.
So all you do, a little bit on the base.
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 because the salmon's quite small, and I know Claude's at the end.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
He does like a nice portion.
We've got a little mixture there. There you go.
Thank you very much.
So that's just cauliflower and broccoli that you've just sautéed off, yeah?
And then you're just going to sit the puree here, which is very nice and textured. It's lovely.
Is there a lump in it?
No, not at all. This is beautiful.
Just get it on the plate.
That's amazing. Probably one of the best purees I've ever seen.
Thank you. Right, there we go.
So again, we just put this little purple sprouting here. So again, lots of different textures. You've got a little bit of roasted cauliflower. That just sits there. So as you bite into it, you've got the little warm, cold, pickled puree. Got a lovely little salmon that's really juicy. Just sits on top there.
And is there any other, would you cook all fish like that then?
No, this is just specific
salmon.
for this. Yeah,
Just
I'll
salmon.
use this for this.
Okay.
I've got this lovely little pickled turnip. And have a taste of that. Again, quite sweet and sour.
Sounds good to me.
But it's still crunchy, that's a beauty. And then just going to finish it.
You got some
with my sauce.
Which is in there. I've got you some radishes there.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
And again, this is that onion oil. It's very vibrant. It's got a lovely acidity to it.
And it almost splits that.
Yeah. As it goes over the plate, it splits with the actual chicken stock. It becomes a lovely dressing.
Are we making enough for themselves? Go on then. Right, you put that on. So remind us what that is again.
So we've got a little Lotte d'Or salmon, which has been poached in it's like a pine and thyme oil.
Yeah.
And then just some brassicas, all vegetables from the brassica family. That's just pureed ketchup. And then we've just got all these lovely little turnips and radishes all over.
Looks good to me. How you do it at home, I haven't a clue, but best of luck with it.
There you go. Well done, James. Cheers.
Right.
I'll take one.
There, you take one. I'll take one. Chris can have one. Dive into that. Put yours there, and I'll put mine You can dive into that one. Thanks so much. Tell us what you think of that one.
Oh,
I don't know whether this will be the second dish that you ever create on your repertoire, but you know that difference in textures, and that's what you're more known for than anything else.
If you look at the salmon, it looks like it's raw, but it's actually just melts.
Yeah.
In the mouth.
And that's when you're confident it. But you need to leave that just for about 2 hours. But I suppose you could reuse that oil.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Over and over.
Happy with that?
Very good. You know, I have to say, I know a lot about cooking salmon. My buddy in Alaska, where I surf, sent me a full salmon, and I said, I don't want it to go to waste. So it was frozen when I got it.
Yeah.
And I took a hacksaw and I cut it up into steaks in my garage. And then every night I'd take a steak out and put it in a plastic bag and stick it in the microwave.
Wow, I feel
And
really,
it was delicious.
I feel enlivened.
You can't screw it up. It's salmon.
Yeah, exactly. Just serve it with a bit of cabbage, Walter. Be all right.
I'm pushing a little bit, but I would say this may be better than the salmon in a plastic bag. And I thought that was pretty good, but this, I think you're doing better.
Well, there you go. Right. High praise indeed. There you go. Right. We need some wine to go with this. We sent our wine expert Peter Richards to Cambridgeshire this week. So what did you choose to go with? Sat's sensational salmon.
I'm at Peterborough Cathedral. Spring is springing and we have culinary artistes in the kitchen. We need wine. Sat's salmon is so colourful and eclectic and theatrical in style that you might think it's a little bit bonkers. But you'd be wrong, because while it's original, it's also totally seasonal and utterly delicious. What it's not is easy to match a wine to. So you could go for a cool slug of vodka or schnapps, Scandinavian style. Or you can carry on with your juniper-scented gin and tonic. But if hard liquor's not your thing, then we need a white wine and something at the tangy end of the spectrum. And Riesling is a good grape to go for in that context. And the delicious one here is Viña Riesling from Chile. But I've found us an absolute bargain of a wine this week. It's from New Zealand, it is Sauvignon Blanc, and it's the fabulous Ara Composite from Marlborough. Sometimes when it comes to wine matching, it's not just about picking out individual flavours, it's about the overall feel of a dish. And I know, Sat, you say this dish is designed to make you feel light and ready for spring, and that's exactly what this wine does. It's beautifully tangy. It's scented to tie in with that lovely fragrant oil. It's tangy for the pickle, but it's rich enough for the salmon and the stock. And it's lovely and vegetal and earthy on the finish for those brassicas and the root veg. So, Sat, it's an inspired dish. All I can do is raise a glass.
And it certainly is inspired dish. I know it's going well there. What do you reckon to the wine to go with it?
I think it's fantastic. Got some lovely acidity. Reminds me of spring. Brilliant.
Under £6, I think a bargain this one. I think
really
particularly. Happy with that, Claude?
Really
What do you
good.
reckon?
I like it. Really like
What
it.
about the cabbage ketchup?
You're just missing some chips with it, probably.
Another compliment for you.
You're so English.
Great.
You're so British there.
Right, later on, Claude has a stunning recipe to show us. Remind us what it is again.
One mixer dish made with risotto. We're making a risotto with no rice, just celeriac.
That's what it is. And guess who's chopping it? Yeah. Now it's time to catch up with Rick Stein and more of his food heroes. Today he's championing one of my favourite things, watercress. But first, he's in Dorset looking for a long-lost cheese. And thank you, Rick. I think the less said about you and that film this week, the better. Instead, I'm going to give you a masterclass on something that you'll have in your jar in your fridge. It's mayonnaise, and it's so simple to make yourself. Now, traditionally, this mayonnaise would be done with vegetable oil, and it would also be done with normal egg yolks. But the way that you can change the flavour of this, not by changing the recipe itself, is by changing the type of eggs that you use. And I'm going to use these really good organic egg yolks. And you can see already the colour of the egg yolks that they go in there. But also, I'm going to change the oil that we put in. Now, like I said, traditionally, mayonnaise would be done with vegetable oil and just plain eggs, and we end up with this sort of a paler coloured here. There's nothing wrong with that, and the flavouring's been either vinegar or lemon juice. But what I'm going to do is change this slightly differently and use some rapeseed oil, which I know the guys over there are a big fan of. And They used to use this oilseed rape. I don't know if you've heard of oilseed rape, but they used to use it as pig feed, and it sounds really bigging it up, doesn't it, really? But they use it, they cold press it now and use it as biofuel. But the idea being that it's a very yellow in colour, and you can already see this, the yellow of the egg yolks, but gradually and slowly you pour the oil onto the egg yolks using a blender like this, and just slowly pour it in. Now, the more oil you add, the thicker it will become, but a bit like making anything really that's got egg yolks in it, it's emulsifying it. So you add it really, really slowly. Too quickly and it'll split. You can never really go too slowly with this, really. So you just keep adding it slowly and slowly. But the more oil you add, the thicker it becomes. You can loosen it down with a touch of water, or you've got a little bit of vinegar in here. Here I'm going to use a touch of vinegar, some mustard, but some chili sauce, chili dipping sauce, and some of this, because I know you went to Japan for a while. This is yuzu juice. I don't know if you've tried this.
No, I haven't tried
Amazing
that one,
smell.
no.
Just smell that. Just smell that.
You know, I
love it, yeah.
Well,
just smell it. It's a cross between a satsuma and a mandarin.
I boxed when I was in Japan, and I can barely smell anything. So.
All right. But literally, I'm going to add a little bit of that. But you can take the base of a mayonnaise, which I'm adding before I add all these, and change it to so many different sauces. This one here is a little tartar sauce. You add chopped gherkins, capers, shallots, lemon, dill and parsley, and you end up with a tartar sauce. This one here, obviously famous in the UK, Mary Rose sauce, ketchup, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. You've got some Tabasco, a bit of brandy in there, really good, does give it a nice kick. And then some cayenne pepper or a bit of paprika and some lemon. But it's actually thought that mayonnaise isn't actually French, or I thought it was. It's thought to be Spanish of origin, really. But I know it's used all over the world, different types of bases, but gradually you slowly add the oil. And I'm going to mix this together and serve it with a little bit of chicken goujons that I'm going to deep fry as well. So we just keep slowly adding this in here. Now, fascinating childhood for you, really, when I was reading about you, because you brought up your wife, your mother was part Italian, your father was part German.
Yeah, I'm a German and Italian background, so I don't really speak either language, except I know when I'm being yelled at.
No, when you're being yelled at. But music was a huge influence in your life, listening to stuff on the radio.
My dad, when I was growing up, my dad had just got out of prison, and he had like one box of records.
Right.
That was all just great singers. It was all Johnny Cash and Elvis and Carl Perkins and Orbison, and amazingly, you know, we didn't have a bunch of records, but he would let us play them. You know, your kids, you'd think you'd be scratching them up and they'd be yelling at you and stuff.
Yeah.
But my dad was so cool. He would just say, you know, have at it, go ahead.
But music wasn't the first thing for you. When you were reading about you, you went on to be a light heavyweight boxer.
I was a light heavyweight, and I boxed Police Athletic League, which is maybe the stupidest thing.
Right.
No, it's the stupidest idea ever. In America, they have the Police Athletic League, and the police take kids that they think are in danger of like becoming delinquents,
right?
And they teach them how to throw an overhand right. You know, it's like
nice, great, yeah.
I don't know, but it worked. They taught me something.
But so music then was a big thing for you, like you said, and then that's where it led you to come back to the UK after doing a little bit in Japan. But you say, when I was reading about you in Japan, that it was one moment that you went into an old record store and bought an old record that changed your life.
It's weird how your life turns on a dime. Like, you know, I think back and I go, if that day had gone different, I did something else, I don't know. But I walked by a record store, and every day I'd walk by this store, and they had a white guitar in the window. And to a redneck like me, that white guitar was like, wow, that's really classy. And,
yeah.
I couldn't afford the guitar, and I went in the shop, and they had an album in there called Elvis Presley Sun Sessions. And I didn't know what that was, but I bought it, and at the time I bought it, I had a flat-top haircut. It was about as long as yours. Wow. And I went, the next day I went to my boxing coach, and I said, I don't want to cut my hair anymore. And he said, well, you have to be on the team. And I said, I can't do it then. He said, well, you can let it grow as long as you win. So I boxed, and I let my hair. I was just fighting to keep my hair, and that was, you know, rock and roll.
But coming back to the US, and particularly San Francisco, that's where you set up your band, wasn't it? The Silvertones?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you played every single pub and gig going just to get a record deal.
Yeah, I played we played bars and I mean, any place that you could set up a band, any place that had sold beer or had a urinal, we played.
But you still play with the same band, don't you? Now,
I've had the same guys for 27 years. I'm looking for better musicians, but I can't find them. Just can't find. They're good guys.
But talking about the greats, I mean, you mentioned Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, you managed... What must be incredible to actually work with these guys, having listened to them on the radio when you were younger.
And I don't, looking back on it, I don't really know how I got to do it, but some luck in my life, the people that I loved and I grew up listening to, I got to work with Johnny Cash. I got to be friends with Roy Orbison. I went to Roy Orbison's house, and I still remember sitting there playing guitar with him and singing. And at one point, he goes, I like the way you sing that part. He goes, you sound a little bit like Buddy when he did that. And I said, oh, yeah. And then as I was walking out of the house later, I went, Buddy Holly. Yeah. Like, it blew your mind to think who he knew and hung out with,
It must have been incredible. I mean, and is that why you've done the album that you're doing now? Because, you've picked all the great. It must have been an album that you've always wanted to do.
This music is a music I love. And the guy who discovered all those artists, Elvis, Jerry Lee, Orbison, was in Memphis, made Sun Studios, this little studio, and that studio is still there. And I took my guys to Memphis, and we recorded at the studio, and they would open up at midnight. They'd open up the little diner next door, and we'd go in there and make hamburgers and stuff. And it was, just kind of like recording in 1953,
Incredible. And of course, we first knew you in the UK from... It was something to tell you about your third album, The Wicked Game, that really launched your success, because that was... together with a film, wasn't it? Wild at Heart. But you actually went into acting as well, didn't you? You did a few. I can't believe Silence of the Lambs. You were in that as well.
I've been in films, but I don't think. I love doing films. It's a lot of fun. I've done television shows where you get to act and stuff. But when I go home, I don't stand in front of the mirror and do Othello or something. It's like I go home and I grab a guitar.
Well, you need to grab your guitar, because you get yourself ready, because I'm just going to show you what we've got in here.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet. There's the two different types of mayonnaises. Look at the one that I've done. I'm going to add all this lot together. We're going to serve it with goujons. You're going to play out to the girls and try and make them and convince them to choose sardines. Okay. Where you go, Chris.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Bound by wild desire, I fell into a ring of fire. Everybody, I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and those flames grew higher. And it burns, burns, burns. The ring of fire, the ring of fire. Please don't make me eat the mint. Come on, Hannah, give me a break. For God's sakes, give me a sardine, will you?
There you go. Well, that's it.
You have to choose something.
You sing for your supper.
Yeah, exactly.
They told me.
Well, you give me all of that thing.
Go ahead, what do you want to sing for?
Not me, definitely not. I'm not playing this. Dive into that bit of chicken. Now, tell us, this is a special guitar. Tell us about this thing.
That's a Gibson J200, and it's, all the Gibsons sound good, and this one sounds especially good. And as much as I played it, it's all kind of beat up. If you get close, it's all beat up. I think this works out to be about a penny a play, because I've played that night and day, boy.
Sounds pretty, because your famous one is the old white guitar that you saw in the window as well.
Be careful, that's mother a toilet seat, so you don't want to knock that off.
Sounds good, mate. This is going on eBay, mate. So what do you think of the goujons?
Don't talk to me right now.
There you go. Right, what we'll be cooking for Chris at the end of the show. I'm going to keep this, actually. So he could be having Food Heaven sardines. The fish is filleted and layered with sliced potatoes, fresh marjoram, and topped off with slow-roasted tomatoes, baked in the oven. It's simply served with a basil oil and a rocket salad on the top, or you could be facing that dreaded food hell. Mint and that delicious dessert, a chocolate and peppermint parfait, which I don't think you're going to get after that. I'm going to infuse a mixture of cream, milk, eggs, loads of peppermint, fold it into whipped egg whites, double cream, freeze it, and it's served with a praline custard and a few bits of chocolate mint on the top. Some of the viewers and the guys in the studio get side Chris's fate today. Sat, what do you like the sound of?
Like Chris, I love sardines.
Yep.
And I love mint, but I'm going to choose sardines.
There you go. That song's convinced him because he chose mint in rehearsal. There you go.
I had it once microwaved.
Exactly. Kim, what about you?
After being sung to like that, it's got to be the sardines.
There you go. Well, that's well, you have to wait to the end of the show to see the final result. You better keep this because I dare drop it. There you go. Right, let's get more action from Celebrity MasterChef. This week's Hopefuls celebs have to cook lunch for over 100 ambulance workers. Best of luck. Thank you for that.
Shobu, Tim and Margie must face their first major cooking challenge in the outside world.
Welcome to the London Ambulance Call Centre here in Waterloo. They handle over 4,000 calls a day here. There are 300 staff. It's your job today to prepare lunch for these people.
Each team today will be cooking 50 meat dishes, 30 vegetarian dishes and 30 hot puddings. Off you go.
This is a high-pressure environment. Precision timing is everything, and head chef Kim Herr is here to ensure that there are no delays.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're a little bit pushed for time this morning. We have 3 hours in order to get the lunch ready.
Each team must devise their own menu from a range of ingredients, including chicken, minced beef, pork, a range of vegetables, and a selection of tinned fruit.
Thinking about doing shepherd's pie
Sounds good.
and vegetarian curry.
Veg curry with rice.
That sounds perfect. They absolutely love curry.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're a winner there, I think.
Rhubarb crumble for dessert.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
Veg curry. We know what we're doing there.
On the other team, Margie and Aggie have started cooking before getting the go-ahead from the chef.
What were you planning to do for your menu?
Make bolognese, spaghetti
Bolognese sauce.
pasta bolognese.
Right, OK. There is a slight problem there because Tim will be using the beef.
I want to use the beef. So only one of us can use the beef?
Yes, I'm afraid so. It's been taken up, yeah.
Oh, right.
So let's have a look at the ingredients.
Use the chicken, couldn't I?
You've got sage,
What I want to do in that case is a big sort of tray bake in the oven with chicken and loads of different vegetables and herbs. Yeah, right, OK, so I'm going to do tray bakes.
With Aggie in charge of the meat dish, Margie has taken responsibility for the vegetarian option and is making a lentil bake. They are yet to decide on a dessert.
Right.
I've listened to John and Greg, and the method here, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to do all my ingredients first. Got an hour to prep, hour to cook. That's the way to success.
I'm kind of getting my head down and just doing it and trying not to panic.
I've never seen you this calm before, Shobu.
No, I'm changing.
The other guys seem to be just like cooking.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing what?
Well, my theory was an hour to prep, an hour to cook.
I like the idea of it.
Across the kitchen, Aggie and Margie are already cooking.
Must remember to put salt and pepper in.
You've got Margie making lentil bake, but she hasn't done all the preparation and then made 6 dishes. She's making every dish at one time. One goes in the oven, she starts the next one. Why don't you just cook it all at once and put them all together?
I didn't fancy that idea because I'm doing the 30 and I know that if I do 6 of those dishes, that's the 30.
So 6 dishes, you're gonna cook the same dish 6 times over.
I just trust it more this way because I'm terrible at numbers. I'm number blind.
She has no idea what's going into each dish. There's not going to be any consistency. And that's the point with large-scale catering. It's got to be consistent.
Meanwhile, Aggie has her own problems.
I'm a bit discombobulated because I decided I was going to make bolognese sauce and it was going to be delicious and etc. And then Tim's gone off with the beef, so then I had to suddenly quickly think of something else.
Aggie's got a lovely dish of chicken and rice, but she is running around all over the place. Really tense, loads of mess, too much energy in the wrong direction.
Calm down, Ag.
Interesting way of doing it. I don't understand why you don't take all your chicken off the stove, put them into trays, get all your garnishes done like your peppers and onions, then your sauce, and finish them all off at once. Because you've got 8 or 9 on there, you've got about 12 on here.
I know,
you've
but
got
this is a bigger one, and they're all
you've got
different
6 on here, you've got
sizes.
9 on... How do you work like this? Street.
You have roughly 2 hours left to service.
Right.
Tim and Shobu are still doing their prep.
I'm sorry, but this really isn't fun at the moment. I've just chopped for an hour. All I'm doing is chopping. And I have absolutely no idea whether I'm making enough carrots here or whether I'm making enough potatoes. I just don't know.
That's why I don't use butternut squash. It's impossible to cut.
So much, this is impossible.
Are you okay with your curry?
Yes, I've got to cut a few, as you suggest, 2 more celery,
Right.
a few more courgettes, so I'm still...
Okay, because it's
So
looking
it's
like
better
you're getting a
to-
bit stuck for time.
I need to get
So
on
you
with
just
it.
concentrate on making sure that you've got your dish ready.
I think I'm remaining calm under pressure. I don't know if that could be a bad calm, because, you know, if I don't get the job done, then that's a bad calm.
Tim finally gets his cottage pie going. But they still haven't started their rhubarb crumble.
Right, Tim, how long do you think you'd estimate your pudding needs to cook?
20 minutes.
I'd probably give it a little bit longer than that. I'd maybe try about 40.
40?
Crumbling first.
I don't know how to make crumble.
With just over an hour until service, Tim gets to work on his first ever rhubarb crumble.
I assume it's flour and topping, right? It's flour and margarine, oats and sugar.
Right, get that mixed quickly. Bit more marge.
I reckon the more sugar I put in it, the nicer it's going to taste.
Whoa.
You need any help?
I'm all right, thanks, honey. I mean, it's a mess, but yeah. I should be helping you with that crumble, and I'm not.
Have you decided what pudding your team's going to do?
No. Unless you have.
Rhubarb crumble, aren't we?
Well, I'm afraid they've already picked you to it. Well, as a word of advice, they like traditional puddings. So anything stodgy, sponges, pastries, you know, like pies.
We're taking the easy route, really, and just doing a crumble.
Apple crumble. Well, it better come with a decent amount of custard, ladies.
And you can see if the celebrities managed to feed those hungry ambulance workers in about 20 minutes or so. Still to come this morning on Saturday Kitchen Live, Keith Lloyd's in Somerset. After a spot of mud skipping, he grabs himself a cod to fry up right there in the estuary mud. It's classic stuff. Saturn Claude may be having a laugh now, but the yolks will stop when they get down to the extremely serious business. This is getting really bad. Of making omelettes. You can see all the action coming up on Saturday Kitchen's live omelette challenge a little later on. And what we'll be cooking for Chris at the end of the show, we'll be facing that food heaven: baked sardines with potatoes and slow roasted tomatoes, or food hell, that peppermint chocolate parfait. Claude, what did that sound of? Are you going to go for the mint or are you going to go for the sardines?
Sardine, definitely.
Sardines, looking good though, isn't it? There you go. Right, cooking next is a French powerhouse behind the double Michelin-starred London restaurant Hibiscus. It's the brilliant Claude Bossy. Great to have on the show, Claude.
Hi, thank you very much.
Now, this dish is a risotto with no rice. So tell us the name of it then.
I got a customer who call it a nosotto.
A nosotto.
But it's quite interesting. But it's the celeriac. With the celeriac as base of the rice.
Yes.
You're going to peel the celeriac. With the skin, we're going to make the stock to cook the risotto.
Yeah.
You got some English winkles to finish it, a bit
Yeah.
of meat juice, some mascarpone, some parmesan, as a classic parmesan.
And that's it. We're going to finish off with this.
The pomelos.
Exactly. And you want me to get on and do this later?
Yeah,
now,
go
we're
for
going to use the entire lot of this, even the
Yes.
skin for the stock. So
I find the skin having a lovely nutty flavour when you...
Right. Now, your restaurant's famous for doing, obviously, double Michelin star, but famous for utilising veg in a different way, really.
Yeah, I love vegetable.
Because I was there last week, and you do a dish with tamarind. It's incredible, sort of.
Yes.
a real sort of weird flavour, but just incredible taste to go with it.
It's an inspiration we find in Singapore. I was with Sat a couple early January. I think I can't remember exactly when it was, and we find this flavour, and I just fall in love with it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's a hard dish to do, a long dish to do. It's not a hard dish, but very long. It takes a long time because of tamarind, the shallots and everything. But it's a really, really interesting flavour. You got the sour and everything with it.
Now, as well as loving veg, you don't like lamb?
I hate lamb.
You hate lamb?
That's it. I'm sorry about the lamb producer, but I absolutely hate it.
Is it? What is?
I just hate the flavour.
It's never on. It's never going to be on your restaurant, is it?
No, I don't cook with it.
All right. Okay.
I don't eat it. I don't cook it.
Right.
It's that simple. It's as the way I see it. If you can't eat it, why cooking it for your customer? And there's plenty of other places to do lamb. They can go to Sat.
Hey, we do lamb dressed as mutton.
So they can go to Sat. They have lamb, and no, I just don't like it.
Right. So what have we got in the pan then?
Here we got the Syriac. A bit of salt, a bit of butter, and just get the water coming out of the Syriac.
Right.
Pomelos, I love that thing. You got a fantastic skin. You can use that skin if you want to. You know, like you make like the orangette. That skin is absolutely beautiful.
Well, you often get a lot of like sugared, sugared skin like made out of this as well.
Massive segment.
The candied stuff.
Yeah,
but
you see?
This is instead of using wine, you're going to use this for, is it?
No, instead of using wine is what you're prepping here.
Right.
With we're going to make it like a puree, a very simple puree. Where when it's finished, we're going to mix it with some vinegar. Now you put the Syriac in it.
Yeah.
Put the juice and you cook it. Not a lot. Make sure your stock is hot. Just like a basic Syriac, basic risotto.
So the idea is we've got the skin for the stock.
Yeah.
The dice there we're going to blend into a puree, and then you've got the very, very fine dice instead of the rice for the actual risotto itself.
And you see the segment of the pomelos?
Just break them up.
Just break them up. Right. It's absolutely fantastic.
So we're going to drain this off. But they are quite sharp, that fruit, isn't it? Really, it's quite a distinctive flavour.
Yeah, it's quite distinctive flavour, but it's not as sharp as a grapefruit or an orange. Most of it's for the texture as well as the freshness it will bring to the dish.
Yeah.
You try to keep the Syriac with a bit of a bite, you know, like you will have with the rice.
Yeah.
You just cook it really slowly. A bit more. When the purees get blitzed, you got the vinegar.
Yeah.
White wine vinegar. If you need a bit of juice, I've got some juice left here.
Now, although sort of classically trained, you take your ideas from all over the world, don't you, really?
Yeah.
We've got different things from the Far East over here.
I love traveling.
Travel's important for you?
Very much so. Very much so. If not, you get used to doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's so much thing to see outside of your door, you know?
Yeah.
Outside of where you live. And I think it's very important to open your eyes, see what's up on the other side. And you see different technique.
Yeah, and so talking of techniques, tell us about these things here, because these have to be prepared in a certain way. So
yeah, the winkles. It's like we prepare it like a snails. I mean, I love them. You boil them first in vinegar to take all the, how can I say that, the impurity of it.
It's like a foaminess to it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not very pleasant. You take all of that off. After that, you put them back in a pan with a broth, a bit of carrot, a bit of onion, and just cook it for 45 minutes. When it's been cooked, you peel it out, and you get the snail like this.
Right.
See? It's got a lovely texture. And
now these are the fresh ones.
Yes.
Don't use the pickled ones for these ones.
You can if you want to build some sharpness, but don't.
Yeah.
You can buy them prep already. It's not too much of an issue.
Right, we've got a puree here, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, another blender.
Yeah, but just one.
That James on puree duty.
Come on, we could do a masterclass on mixer today.
Get in there.
Yeah.
So this doesn't take very long to cook then?
No, it's very easy. It's a part of a garnish at the restaurant.
Right,
a bit of mascarpone.
Yeah. Now a lot of people finish. I finish my risotto with mascarpone.
Yeah, just wait for
yeah. I just find the parmesan it brings it all together, whereas the mascarpone just helps a little bit.
The winkles, they cook, just to warm them up a bit. Plenty of it.
Now you actually serve this in the restaurant as a garnish, don't you? Really?
Yes.
Not really as a dish.
Yeah.
With the was it with cod that you had it?
With cod and truffle, the old-fashioned. So we try to mix the classic where I'm based from, and a bit of a modernity.
Now on your travels, you ask a lot of sort of 2 and 3 Michelin star chefs about on their travels. So say Japan is a place where to go. Would you say that?
Yes. Yeah, because you got the respect of produce, the simplicity of it, and I do believe they got some of the best produce in the world.
Yeah.
And the way they work with it and the way they respect them, it's just fantastic.
Do you think it's the simplicity side of it?
I think it's the purity as well.
Yeah, the purity of it.
Everything's like tastes so healthy. You feel very good about yourself when you eat Japanese food.
I mean, when we gone there with Sat, he was like doing a new apprentissage. Sorry. Yeah. Because just the way they work and the way they see the food, everything they do is for a reason. They're not doing it just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And thank you.
There you go. Right, so at the last minute, have you put any of this in it? Explain to us what you've got.
I'm just
there.
going to finish it at the end.
So
Just to bring a bit of meat.
You've just put a little bit of Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan cheese, mascarpone,
yeah.
dash of meat juice.
And what is that you've got in there?
Chicken.
That's just heavily reduced chicken stock.
That's it, yeah.
Okay. So if people were buying that, you'd get one of these tubs of chicken stock. I've showed you how to make stock.
Meat juice, yeah, you can get now.
But you can get those tubs and just reduce it down and put it in the fridge.
That's it. Mind the cell contents of it.
Do you want this seasoned with a bit of salt or not? No.
Should be fine normally.
Should be fine. There you go. Now, as well as doing all that, you're involved in another venture as well, aren't you, with your brother?
Yeah, I've got a pub with my brother in Wimbledon.
Right.
The Fox and Greg. And he's busy.
He's
really busy there. And yeah, we're just doing good local food, you know, English food. And it's very popular.
Is the lamb on the menu there?
Yeah, because I'm not cooking it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, in we go with the herbs. Herbs you use there, a little bit of...
Parsley, chive and chervil.
Chervil, yeah.
That's done.
When you're ready.
Okay. Donc you check the texture. You know, you have to be a bit like a risotto in between of it. We got the celery we're going to finish on top of it. Yeah.
Little bit
Always
of
the
puree.
puree, and then you forget the puree again.
Yeah, that's the bit that I made.
Cheers, I made, sorry. Beautiful puree. Now we get you the acidity on the dish.
Now you just put a bit of vinegar in there as well.
Yes, you put the vinegar just to get the acidity of it.
And this is instead of using white
wine. I'm not a big... I mean, I like drinking wine, don't get me wrong. It's not that way I don't use in it, but I find wine in cooking is not really for me.
There you go.
Voilà, perfect. Pomelos.
And then you've got the little celery tops there. And then this is, you get the sharpness from it as well.
That's it, and the texture a bit.
Yeah. Because you can also make this into a jelly, like what you use that agar-agar for as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Not too much, because after it looks like a fruit salad.
Yeah.
Just try to get the balance, and that is the celery leaf, just to get you back to the celery flavour to it.
Yeah, and then finally we've got over here the truffle there. The seasons are changing at the moment.
Shave it a bit on top of it.
So I know you want to just put a little bit of that on, and some olive oil.
Dash of olive oil. That's it.
And then a little bit of olive oil on the top.
Dash of olive oil. That's it.
Remind us what the dish is again?
It's a risotto with no rice and English winkles made with cereac and pomelos.
Makes my chicken goujons look a bit simple, doesn't it? There you go.
Ah, come on. Cheers.
It looks good. I know that it tastes fantastic. But have a seat over here, Claude.
Cheers.
Dive into this one. The food just keeps coming, you see. Tell us what you think of that. It's an unusual combination, putting the winkles and the truffles together, but it's just...
Come on.
What? Stop looking at me. Get a life. Come on.
What do you reckon? You like it?
It's damn good.
It's delicious. There you go. I don't think any of these guys are going to get any. So let's go back to Peterborough to see what Peter Richards has chosen to go with Claude's riceless risotto.
Claude's cooking is brilliantly playful and inventive, and this dish is a really subtle interplay of flavour with some offbeat but complementary ingredients. So we need a white wine, and a pretty grown-up one at that, something that marries seamlessly a richness with an elegance and a freshness. Now, oak-aged Chardonnay is one option, and if you can't afford Burgundy, then this brilliant value Journey's End Chardonnay from South Africa is a great option. But let's forget Chardonnay for once, and I found us an absolute belter of a wine that's just a little bit different from the norm, like this dish. It's the quite wonderful Cornet Collioure Blanc from the south of France. Dry white wine from Collioure is definitely a little bit off-piste. It's grown in the beautiful Mediterranean hills just north of the Spanish border, and it can be made from weird and wonderful grape varieties. This one has Grenache Gris and Vermentino. And what these wines really can be is undiscovered gems. This one's beautiful. It's not particularly aromatic or characterful, but it just smells gently of nuts and warm earth and herbs, which will work really well with the celeriac, the parmesan and the truffle here. And it's succulent and velvety to match the richness of the risotto, but not too much to overwhelm the winkles. And finally, very importantly, it's sort of refreshing and uplifting in flavour, which is what we need for the pomelo, and so the flavours don't cloy. So, Claude, it's a brilliantly original dish, and here's a wonderful wine to go with it that's a little bit different too.
Well, everybody's diving into that one. It's going down a storm.
It looks like it, yeah.
Has the wine done it?
I really like
justice?
it. No, I like it. I love the wine. It's got this citrusy, you know, which is going very well with the pomelos and the truffle. I think citrus and truffle go great together.
Goes really
beautiful,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful.
and priced at £9. I think a bit of a bargain compared with the amount of truffle that's gone on that, Sat.
The winkles are lovely.
What do you reckon the combination between that fruit? It's quite unusual, isn't it?
It's pure Claude Rosy.
Yeah, it is. But it's one of those dishes, I mean, Chris was talking about it, it's one of those dishes that if you saw it on a menu, you wouldn't pick it because probably the winkles and the truffles you wouldn't really, but tasting it is just
You
incredible.
think he was like, on some hallucinogenics?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Right, let's get back to Celebrity MasterChef to find out whether those hungry ambulance workers actually got anything to eat.
In just 40 minutes' time, hundreds of ambulance staff will arrive for lunch.
It is frightening. It is really, really frightening. Today, I thought they were going to come up one more step, but right now, I am really, really worried. Really worried.
Where's the veg curry?
I've got all the bits over there. I've just put the onions in. I need to put in my spices and then put in the tomatoes, make the paste, the base, and then put in all the veggies and let them cook.
What do you mean? You've got loads. That's loads and loads.
Loads and loads of what?
That's loads and loads of work. Can you get this done in 30 minutes?
What can I do? It's not cooking any faster. It needs to cook faster.
The vegetables aren't cooked. She's got vegetables like that. She's got about half an hour.
Where?
Where are the veg, Toby?
They're all there. They're all right. Okay. Don't get your veg on. Get them in. Start stirring it.
No, you put it in after.
Put your
Get the veg
vegetables
on.
first.
I'm really behind time. Got to get the potatoes boiled, mashed on top of the cottage pie, under the grill. Taste, eat, beautiful.
There's not much more I can do now. I can't speed up the process.
Okay, ladies and gents, come in focus, please. You have 15 minutes left. Oh my God. Oh wow, that is seriously burned.
Is that ours?
Was this the apple? Is it one of yours?
Yeah, it wasn't cooking at all,
Right.
and I put it on the top shelf.
Okay.
And then next thing is charred.
Okay.
Right now, behind that wall, it is carnage. Absolutely unmitigated carnage.
I'm quite concerned about what's going on here, to be honest. We've a few minutes to spare, but it's going to be really tight. The sooner I can step in there, then the more chance that we have. Yeah.
Good luck.
Right.
It's like the opening night of a big show. Everything is on the actor, everything's on the performer and the chef in the kitchen. When the curtain goes up, all the actors have got a nice smile and ready to begin.
John, there are 300 people in this building, so at least 200 of them are going to come down for their lunch. These guys are working emergency services, John. They've got to get back and man the phones. It's a very strict timetable.
Right, they're queuing at the door now, ladies and gents, so we need to make sure that we push this out within the next couple of minutes.
Tim, get it in, get it in, get it in. Well done. Let's get it in.
Is it ready to go now?
Yeah. It was ready to go half an hour ago. The crumble, do you know the crumble's coming on?
The crumbles in the oven.
Whoa, don't open the oven.
Don't open the oven. The 2 of the crumbles, or maybe all 3, are in the oven. Tim's actually made them. I just put them in the oven, so we'll see.
Despite the chaos, Margie and Aggie have their dishes at the pass. Tim has also got the pie up.
Ooh, your potatoes are... Everything's really quite hard, isn't it? That's going to be at least 10-15 minutes yet. Yeah, you missed your timing. It's been way out there, I'm afraid. Basically, what it means is that you're going to miss out on some customers, so you're not going to be selling your dishes. OK? Right, we're about to open the doors, guys. Please make sure that you have all the equipment that you need.
Can I have a spoon for my crumble, please? What would you like? Okay, this is vegetarian. Enough for you? Okay.
It's really nice with salad.
Right. What can I do you with?
Can I have chicken, please?
Yes.
All the early orders are for Margie and Aggie.
Can I get the lentil bake, please? Yes. Right, you certainly.
What would you like?
Is that all right? Do you want some rice with it?
Oh, go on then, I'll have the cottage pie.
Oh, yeah.
Last.
What would you like? I like the salad. Yeah. What would you like?
Something happy now.
Thank you. It's vegetarian.
Not served it very well, but I think it'll taste all right.
Thank you.
Cottage pie.
Yes.
Despite the slow start, Tim's cottage pie is selling well.
I had the cottage pie. Yummy.
It's cooked! Wee-hee!
15 minutes late, Shobu's vegetable curry finally arrives.
What are the choices? What do we
Cottage
have?
pie, lentil bake.
There you are.
Whoa! Or vegetable curry.
Oh, wow!
I'll have the vegetarian curry, please.
Well, I do hope that you enjoy it.
Yes.
And,
What can I get for you?
I hope it doesn't blow the lid off your mouth.
Tim, can you get this gentleman a curry and rice?
What's this one?
Curry.
I've gone for the curry and for the rice, and it's pretty good actually. The heat kicks in after you've swallowed it, and it's not too powerful.
Both main courses get the thumbs up, but Tim's first ever attempt at rhubarb crumble is not going down so well.
I had the rhubarb crumble pudding. It was okay overall, but the rhubarb was a bit undercooked, or overcooked, should I say. It's just way too much crumble.
Halfway through service, and Aggie's chicken, herb and vegetable tray bake is almost sold out.
Oh, it's going good then. It's the chicken, isn't it?
It's really nice. Rice is cooked perfectly. Chicken is really nice and juicy.
And Margie's homemade recipe for cheesy lentil pie is also flying out.
Red peppers, mushrooms, onions, and a cheesy top.
I've never had lentils with cheese, but actually a really nice combination.
There you are, my dear. Now what can you have?
Now it's just their rescued pudding that needs to impress.
I had the apple crumble, absolutely lovely. Nicely cooked, nice soft apples, nice flavour, really good.
All things considered, I know it got a bit hairy there towards the end, but we managed to do it by the skin of our teeth, and I think you've all got a lot to be proud of. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you.
And you can see the celebrities face more gruelling challenges on next week's show. Right, it's time to answer some of your foodie questions. Each caller is also going to help us decide what Chris over there will be eating for lunch at the end of the show. So first on the line, we've got Maureen from the Isle of Lewis. Are you there, Maureen?
Hi there. Good morning.
Right up there in Scotland. What's your question for us?
Hi there. I've got some pig slaughters and I wouldn't mind knowing what to do with them.
Pig's trotters.
Pig trotters.
Well, great dishes you can make out of pig's trotters. Off
I
you go.
love pig trotters. Yeah. You braise them for a long time. Take all the bone off. After the bone being taken off, you put it in a tray, let it set. When it's set, you cut it off, breadcrumb, deep fry it, and you get like little kremeski of pig trotters. The tartare sauce, you know, the mayonnaise you done early?
So the idea is you slow cook them in a little bit of water with some vegetables, that kind of stuff.
Like your broth.
Take them off the bone.
Break all the bone off. It's a bit of hard work, but take all the bone off.
Yeah.
Let it, chop it down, put it in, let it set in a tray, cold, cut it off, breadcrumb, deep fry it with the tartare sauce, beautiful.
And we're all around your house for dinner if you ever go out making that. But
Yes.
Good luck with that one. What dish would you like to see at the end of the show, heaven or hell?
I'm sorry, hell, please.
Hell? There you go. Mint lover, there you go. And Sean from County Durham, are you there, Sean?
I am, yes.
Hi there, what's your question for us?
What's the best way to cook a leg of lamb?
Claude.
Don't cook it.
There's a really brilliant recipe I've done before. It's an old French one, which is like 7-hour lamb. So there's loads of herbs, loads of garlic, and you just really slowly braise it or roast it, with a little bit of water on a trivet, and you cook around probably 120 degrees centigrade, and it's just absolutely delicious. I think we could convert him.
Yeah, well, I've actually been doing it. I've been doing it in hay. Cooking
hay's
in hay.
brilliant.
If you get hay from a pet shop,
Yeah.
no,
I love it.
yeah, not out of the rabbit hutch, but literally get it fresh hay out of the pet shop, and literally you put that in the dish. Put the lid on it and cook it for 2 hours. It is delicious. There you go. So 2 dishes from 2 of us. There you go. I'll leave Claude to sulk. What dish would you like to see at the end of the show? Heaven or hell?
I'm sorry, but I love mint, so it's got to be food hell.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, one more.
Might need to get the guitar out again. There you go. And Jill from Croydon, are you there, Jill?
Yes, I am.
Hi there. What's your question for us?
Yes, I'd like to know how to cook a couple of pork shanks, please.
Pork shanks. So different to lamb shanks, but
It is. I love them. I've done them in the pressure cooker before, just for about 40 minutes, and you do a lovely glaze with cloves and honey, and then roast them on a high heat. They're delicious, really caramelised.
You treat them like a little mini gammon, I suppose, don't you?
Without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, and would you? I mean, you buy them a lot of times salted and stuff like that. Would you leave them in water or just?
You can soak them if you want to.
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you.
But in a pressure cooker.
I would, yeah. 40 minutes, done. It's tender, then glaze them in the hot oven. About 10 minutes.
There you go. I can't beat that recipe. And did the song work for you? Would you like food heaven or food hell?
Food heaven.
There you go. There you go. So at the moment, there you go. It's 2-1 to hell. Right, let's get on to business. All the chefs that come on the show battle out against the clock and each other test how fast they can make a simple 3-egg omelette. Sat just outside our top 10 board here. Respectable time, 19.32. Claude, you first go at this. Who would you like to beat on our board? Not bothered. Thomas Keller, down here. Well, use your rules apply. 3-egg omelette cooked as fast as you can. Are you ready? Let's put the clocks on the screens. 3, 2, 1, go. Just make sure you get on the board. That's the key to it. 2 different ways of making it now. This is the speed bit.
Yes.
That's not an omelette. Hey. That's not an omelette. I'm
Make sure it's an omelette.
Mine is cooking mine.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
I'm done.
See, Chris, you may not have seen this before.
Amazing.
But
look at that.
But it's simple. 3 eggs. Have guys fighting on this show, you see. And especially when you get like this guy here, he just goes, he opens the book, he gets 2 Michelin stars, he goes, yeah, great, that's lovely. He does that egg and just, yes, great, lovely, look.
Let me finish it for you.
Yes,
that's burnt.
Right.
Get off.
Let's have a look. Right.
Listen, I've seen worse than that, James. You let it through.
You're going to be sick. Don't bother. Just wait a bit.
I've seen worse than that, James.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
That one there. Over there.
Look at that.
That's perfect. Seasoned as well, huh?
I forget the seasoning.
What's it?
But I never seasoning when I start cooking. Always at the end.
Right.
Look at that. Look at that beauty.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Come on, what's the fish for? Now he's got your taste in your mouth. His mouth.
Sorry, I've got to have a drink at this point.
Really? Listen, you drink cabbage juice early.
Must be a wing.
Claude.
Come on, be nice.
Be nice.
It's my first time.
Be nice. It's my
Come on,
first
be nice.
time.
Next to Daniel?
You beat Thomas Keller.
Next to Daniel.
Next to Daniel, where?
Clifford.
Daniel Galmiche there?
No, Clifford.
Oh, here?
Please. Even if he's not, just put
No
next to
chance.
it. Oh, okay,
No. Well, I'll let you go there just for now. But you're nowhere near there. You did it in 26.88 seconds. So pretty respectable. Right next to Alain Roux. 3-star Michelin. Pretty good.
Very good.
Stephen Terry there.
Give him his tray.
Sat.
No way.
It's a respectable omelette.
Really? That?
Hey, I've seen worse.
That?
Listen,
Yeah, actually,
stop having sour grapes. You're so English.
You did it quicker than 19.32.
Oh. This is on the blue. That's how I'm happy with
It's
the
not
blue.
an omelette, that.
You did it unbelievably quick. 16.40, which puts
Big
you
time!
in third.
No, come on.
There is not...
Oh, no!
You are going on that board, there you go.
Really
Right, will Chris get his idea? I love it. I love it. You've got so much power on this show, it's brilliant. Will you be getting that Food Heaven sardines or Food Hell mint? The majority of our callers earlier were going for Hell, but the guys in the studio have yet to make their minds up. We'll find out what is happening after a wet and muddy performance from the pioneer of food TV, Mr. Keith Floyd. He's in Somerset today and he's off fishing. And there's no boat, no mud, just miles of mud and a wooden sledge. Brilliant stuff.
James, come on. Let me
Now, I don't paint myself with woad and sit around on hills, like some people I could mention, but there is a powerful serenity about this place. In fact, Somerset, my boyhood stamping ground, is a timeless attraction for me, and Brendan said it typifies the mood of the county. This ancient fashion of fishing, with a sledge between the fierce tides of the Severn, goes back centuries. Notice the elegant way I skip across this thick mud, whilst poor old Brendan struggles manfully with his sledge. He told me not to wear waders. Yeah, I can see. Mud and long boots and suspenders, people think I'm a bit strange. But look, come on, better isn't easy, is it? I mean, what I am is a cook, not a mud tobogganist or whatever.
It is horrible conditions, but there you are. It's all mud flat, 6,000 acres of it, and it's like this all over, right the way all over.
Why don't you have a boat like, you know, everybody else and sail out and catch it?
It would seem to be nice to have a boat, but the treacherous conditions here with the tide, ebb and flow as it does, we found that it doesn't work.
So this is the only answer?
This is the only answer. It's very primitive, but very effective.
How long have you been doing this, then?
Well, I've done it all my life. My father did it all his life, and his father, and the great-grandfather, and of course it was going on long before that.
Let's go for it. And if we do get anything...
Are you all right?
Yeah, of course I'm all right. And if I ever
I'll
get
have to
back...
put you on and push you,
Yeah, I think that'll be the answer. If I get back, I'll cook you something nice to eat.
Take it out of there then, Keith, if you like. He's a bit difficult to get out of there, I expect.
So how does that work, then?
Oh, like here, now. I'll tip it out you. Now, he went in there for a few shrimps.
Yeah. Because he was a greedy little monkey.
Yeah, that's it.
He feels quite plump.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, this is so fresh, it's unbelievable. I think I'll cook you this one when we get back.
Yeah, lovely.
If we get back.
There's a couple there, look. You going to take them out there?
Oh, right, yeah. The point is, here, we're actually not going to hang around too much. We're helping this man, actually, we're not helping him, we're hindering him doing his job. But the tide is going to come whizzing in a minute, and we've got about 15 minutes to get out of it. Oh, I see. Do you know, that was one of the most strenuous bits of filming I've ever done. I mean, it's okay for Brendan. He does it every day. He's been doing it every day for how many years have you been doing that?
Oh, 45.
45 years. Like a little fairy he is, hops over the mud like a sandpiper or a little dipper or something like that. I find it really heavy going. Anyway, it does make you hungry, you know, this fresh air. And of course we could have gone into his little cottage and done it all in a nice Creeder oven and extractors and things like that. But we felt like a really good snack. And you couldn't have a fresher piece of cod than this. You saw us pick it off the net. Brendan's filleted it. So just fry that in a bit of butter. And if you weren't this mud fisherman, this mud skater, you know, what would you do? Is there anything else I mean, I know you've done this all your life and your father before you, but is there anything you ever wish, you know, oh, I wish?
Oh, I wish. No, I don't think there is, really. You know, there's something about this fishing that sort of gets hold of you, and it's the element of surprise in what you're going to get on the next tide. Like you said, if you won $500,000, we all wish that. Everybody on the land wished that, but I still think I would like to go out there and see what was on the next tide like. Something about it. Maybe if you was working in the factory, you'd run from the back door and you wouldn't want to ever go back there again. But with the fishing, it's just one of those things that gets hold of you.
It's nearly midnight and it's March and it's very cold. I'm standing by the River Parrett, which is rising. I'm feeling a bit like a parrot myself, might say fairly sick. And here you can just feel the ghosts of the Pitchfork Rebellion from Sedgemoor. You know, this is the kingdom of the eel. And this is an elver net. And Richard, observe it closely. Also, by the way, observe me, dressed as I should be traditionally in the fine gentleman's attire of an elver fisherman. Notice the jacket, the full-length waders, the survival kit, very important, and this essential thing. However, back to the net, it's very important. Elver fishing isn't just a thing you can whop along and do with a television crew, you know. It's something that you get handed down the knowledge, the experience from generation to generation. So, although I'll plunge this in, be patient, because it's going to drag me away, very likely. You also have to be quite strong to do this kind of thing, you see. Ah! And there you are, you see. They've swum a long way from the Sargasso Sea to go into Florida. Now look, I'm a fairly straight guy, and I do tell you the truth. This is now 1 o'clock in the morning. It is March, and it is freezing. And we don't have a caravan full of home economists. I mean, we could have taken the easy option. We could have gone to the pub over there and used their cookers and things like that. But no, we caught them, so we cooked them. Anyway, you beat up some eggs, as I'm saying, like that. I've already blanched these little elvers in boiling hot water, so they go into the egg mixture as well. Hold on a minute. And I'm having to stand in this curious cramped position. It's not because I've got a bowel disorder, but it's because I'm trying to stop the wind from blowing the gas out. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, you whisk those round like that. You season them with a little pepper. You don't need to look for the pepper, I'll bring it to you. God, this is not a joke at all. It's blown in the cameraman's eyes. What a shame. And a little bit of salt. Look, that is how the wind is. You can see it, can't you? Okay, whisk that up a little bit. And then, if this pan is hot enough, and up to me a second, please, Richard, the fat, the oil, the bacon fat traditionally was the best thing to use to fry these things in, should be piping hot, because these should cook very quickly. Ah, they sizzle. They sizzle. And that will form a beautiful little elver omelette. Now, many of you, I know, will be wondering, because I spoke earlier, about the elver fisherman's survival kit. There it is. You see, out it comes. That is the water, that is the whiskey, and that is the gin. Only for emergencies, I hasten to add, because what you really drink with elvers at 1 o'clock in the morning on the banks of the River Parrett is a glass of cider. Good Somerset cider. Now, you also wondered, no, they're not quite ready yet. So, hold on a second, I'll put a lid on those and tell you something and break from a kind of tradition that we've had in our many series now. I'm not a political man, but I want to tell you that up and down this river there are 40 to 50 people fishing elvers here, all providing happy plates of food for people in Spain, in Holland, in Germany, everywhere except this country, and they won't and can't appear on this film because they're afraid of the excise man. You'd have thought they were smugglers, not fishermen, wouldn't you? Anyway, there we are. A little dish of lovely elvers, I think quite nicely cooked. It looks, I know, like spaghetti and eggs. I'm going to eat it straight out of the pan here. Look at that. What could you have better on a cold March morning? Oh, boy. They're superb.
And there'll be more from Keith Floyd on next week's show. But now it's time to find out whether Chris will be facing food heaven or food hell. Everybody here has made their minds up. Food heaven would be these sort of 6 sardines over there. We're going to simply prepare in a little potato-style little tartlet, little pizza sort of thing that's baked in the oven. It's a one-pan dish with a little bit of basil oil. Alternatively, a big pile of mint over there into a mint and chocolate chip parfait. How do you think these lot have decided?
I love it.
It's very fresh. It was 2-1 to people at home for the mint, but how do you think these lot have decided?
It's good for your singing voice.
I'm hoping they picked the sardines there.
They all have. I think the song works, so that's what you've got. So we'll leave these out of the way. So what we're going to do now is show you how to prepare these sardines, because they're actually really simple, and I think a lot of people are put off by sardines because of the bones. So first of all, you can prepare that little bit of pesto. So we're going to put some just basil, salt and olive oil, pestle and mortar, that's it. And we're going to prepare these sardines. Now, to do this, very simply, you just remove the head first of all.
The head should be eaten separately.
Yeah, exactly, deep fried. And then all you do is place it and press down the backbone. you just push it down here. Now, Claude needs to watch this.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're going to be doing it in a minute.
Really?
And then all we do is you take your fingers and just remove this bone out from
So
underneath.
it's a lot like lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple.
That's why I'm touching it.
But you keep the fish intact, you see, and you just snip that bit of bone off there. All the bones come out here, and you've got the nice. You know, you can trim this off, so it's nice and flat. But the idea is we want all 6 of them like that. Sheffy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So there you go. Over there. Quickly wash my hands, and we'll get the little base of this bit on as well, using the little bit of potatoes. Now I mentioned earlier about your album, but we didn't give it a name.
It's called Beyond the Sun.
Yep. And that's obviously due to the fact that it was in the studios, Sun Studios.
Recorded at a lot of it at Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. And then you start touring, because obviously I mentioned at the top of the show you were touring in the States.
We're coming back to London on October 9th, and I want to get a reservation for that. What's that restaurant here in town? There's a good one, I think. Yeah. And then we're going
to be Hibiscus.
That Hibiscus. Then we're going to Wolverhampton. I don't know what's nearby. Is there a decent restaurant near Wolverhampton?
No.
Anything out there?
Yeah.
There's one that does really good microwave salmon.
Yeah.
Something that's got good.
If I was you, I would go there, but don't choose the omelette.
Something that's got lamb. Maybe an omelette. Maybe some lamb.
I know it's in Nottingham. I know that one.
Yeah. Right. So we've got our sardines there.
Yeah, nearly.
Thank you very much. And the pesto, I think it's much better if you make it using a pestle and mortar. I love these stuff.
I'm not doing anything. You keep going. I'm gonna play your theme song. Go ahead.
All right, it's playing
nice.
music
Yes,
again. All right.
good idea.
Right. Meanwhile,
faster, guys.
All right, okay. Basically, while he's playing, I'm gonna then just put the potatoes in the pan with some olive oil. This is quite good. I could get used to this, you see.
Come on, my kitchen. Don't touch my pan. My name's James Martin. I'm a cooking man. I love you, baby, but you got to wash your hands.
Done it. Next.
I got me a restaurant, but I don't serve lamb. That's just the way I am. Oh, Claude, baby. Get me in there. You know what you're doing?
How do you do?
No, I don't. When you try this at home, you should use any size guitar you want. And a little bit of pepper.
Right. Slice the potatoes through there. Careful, careful, careful.
If you do it fast, you get a little bit of meat at the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
A little bit of meat. That's savory.
Yeah, savory. Thank you very much for that. Right, well, there we go. In we go with the olive oil. Straight in here. And then I'll take the sliced potatoes, and this is where we use this as a base for the little tartlet.
Little
tomatoes.
tartlet is actually, that's the nickname for my girlfriend. Come here, you little tartlet.
That's another little song, is it? There you go. Right, we'll just pop that in there. Straight in here. Straight through there. And you make this just thin. Keep it on the heat, and this is where if you can use obviously an oven-proof pan, it works. You're going to cook all this in the same pan. Sardines?
Yes, ready.
Thank you very much. We've got our tomatoes. Do you want to put the sardines on there?
Yeah.
On the actual dish itself. These are the sort of slow-roasted tomatoes. Now, we slowly bake these, and they go sun-dried. There you go.
Oh, man. How many do you want?
The idea is the tail in the middle, Claude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see the picture. Really?
Yeah, tail in the middle.
I didn't see
You can do it your way if you want.
I like it.
Right. Happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. It's me you was asking?
That's enough, that's enough.
Fine.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, lovely. So tail in the middle, bit of salt, touch of black pepper, like that.
That's a small turning
Like
hen.
that. And then we've got some of this, a little bit of marjoram over here as well. Just sprinkle over the top. We pop all this, loads of olive oil on it as well.
And the stuff that's left over, you can feed your band.
That's it. The idea you can
if
feed
you have a band, you
Well,
can
now
feed
you
them.
can learn how to cook, you see. Now
I'm
you know
ready.
2 dishes that you're going to do. Well, 3.
Mussels and sardines. I'm
Cabbage juice and all that sort of stuff. I don't know whether you...
Cabbage juice.
Winkles and stuff like that. Now, the idea is we cook this just till the potatoes start to turn. Now, You should be able to see that. They just start to colour a little bit. And this is where you keep it in the pan at this point. Obviously, the sardines are not going to cook, so I've set the oven about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about sort of 150, so quite a low oven, otherwise we kind of overcook everything. Those are the tomatoes that have gone in the oven. Now, ideally, if you've got one of those warming drawers, you can put those in there. Go in tour.
I got a warming drawer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do it before you go on tour. Come back after the tour.
My shoes are in the warming drawer, but I'll use it now.
You've got sun-dried tomatoes, you see. There isn't much sun in the UK, so we've got to use the oven for these ones. But these are, the longer you keep them, the drier out, but the more intense flavour they are. But ideally, you want half and half. So we've got a little bit of marjoram on there. You can use oregano, dried herbs, or anything like that. And then we do is place that on here.
I like it.
There we go. And the whole lot can go straight in the oven now. It's a good dinner party dish.
like
This
that,
you can do little ones.
Yep.
See, he likes that one. You see.
I love that one. Yeah.
This one goes in the oven. Now you could, if you wanted to, finish these under the grill, but I actually just like them as they are. And this is where you do need quite a bit of olive oil on here. And if the potatoes are not coloured enough, just literally leave them on the stove, and that way they'll start to crisp up on the base. But the idea is you end up with sort of chips and crisps underneath. So it's a bit like a pizza, but obviously no bread. But plenty really good quality olive oil. And I need to loosen that off of there, really, as well. But you're back in the UK in, what's this, October?
October 9th.
October 9th?
That's right.
And are you playing a mixture of old and new songs as well?
We play, you know, it's like...
He's off again.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. Hannah, strange what desire. Wake up! They're waiting for the sardine.
Exactly.
Now we play old songs and a bunch of the stuff off the new record, and people seem to love Johnny Cash, and I do too.
There you go. Right. Well, I'm going to give this to these guys because these can slide it all out because I think it's stuck.
Cheers, chef.
There you go.
I do the sardine meat.
There you go. You slide it all out on the plate, and it's supposed to look like the picture.
Where's that picture?
There you go.
Hide it.
Go on then, chef.
Put it in.
Slide it out.
It's going to look something like it. Is that my... Did I get my omelette time back?
No. Right. It's supposed to look similar to that, roughly.
We taste as
Kind of squashed a little bit. And then we've got some of this. This is this basil. And you see the difference between this and just so you know, if you get yourself one of these, just look at the colour of that to the stuff that you make in a blender. And you can actually get this colour if you leave it once you've blended it, but you get this really
kind of
rich...
bile colour, right?
Yes. That's kind of a similar sort of thing, yeah. And we got some rocket over the top. And then, do you want to grab some knives and forks, guys?
Yep.
And this is where you get to dive in. And there you have it, my sardine little pizza. We've got some wine to go with this. Girls, do you want to bring over the glasses, please? Because we've got Peter's chosen Chart d'Assemblage 2010 from Waitrose, priced at £7.49. £7.79, sorry. There you go. Dive into that. I'll cut it for you because we've got literally 20 seconds of the show left.
Let me get in. Thanks.
And then you're appearing on BBC One a little bit later as well, aren't you, really?
I am.
There you go.
Playing Ring of Fire there. This is damn good.
Thank you very much. We do try our best. And best of luck on the tour.
Thanks.
Your new album. Thank you very much.
Right here.
Well, great show. That's it all for today on Saturday Kitchen Live. Thanks to Sat Baines, Claude Brossi and Chris Isaac. Cheers to Peter Richards for the wine choices. And today's chef's table guests, Kim and Hannah. Remember, all of today's recipes are, of course, on our website. Go to bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. And we'll be back the usual time live next week at 10 o'clock. Have a great weekend. Bye for now. Enjoy. Dive in, girls. Dive in. Dive in.
Saturday Kitchen at Home is now available from BBC Books. Coming next on BBC One, roast dinner and cheesecake, courtesy of Rachel Allen.
Sport Relief is back, and of course you can raise money by buying these lovely socks, or one of these Sport Relief.
You've got a really thick Scotch accent.
Thirsty.
I was thirsty. Yeah.
I was in charge of the dressing rooms in a clothes shop.
I was the guy that would count your items, then give you a number.
That's a great excuse to stand close to the changing booths.
Kevin Bridges, What's the Story? Watch the series so far on BBC iPlayer.
A roast to relish with all the trimmings. Now on BBC One, more wholesome home cooking with Rachel Allen.
You can't beat home-cooked food. In this series, I'm going to make every meal you cook at home a real treat. Today on Home Cooking, I'll show you how to make a gorgeously decadent but simple baked raspberry and ricotta cheesecake. I get a taste of France when I'm invited to lunch with 2 Michelin-starred chef Eric Chavot and his boys. And I teach my cookery school family how to make roast pork with perfect crackling and all the tricks.